I remember standing in the kitchen, shaking an almost empty cereal box, hoping a few more flakes would fall out. My mom sat at the table, quiet, staring at a pile of bills. I didn't understand everything back then, but I knew money was tight. That silence between us spoke louder than any words. Growing up without much money teaches you things you don't learn in school. You notice what runs out first. You feel guilt when asking for new shoes. You learn to fix, stretch, save, and sometimes go without. But what surprised me most? The way it shaped how I think about money today. Not just spending or saving, but my entire view of success, fear, and freedom. This video isn't just about being broke. It's about what that experience taught me and how it helped me build a smarter, stronger relationship with money in a world that moves fast. Number 1. Money isn't just math, it's emotion. The first time I held $100 in my hand, I didn't feel rich. I felt scared. I hid it in my sock drawer, checked on it every day, and didn't spend a single dollar for weeks. Not because I didn't need things, but because I was afraid I might never have that much again. When you grow up poor, money isn't just something you use. It becomes something you feel. You feel stress when there's none, guilt when you spend, and fear when you have it because it might disappear. This isn't how most financial experts talk about money. They treat it like numbers in a calculator. But if you've lived without it, you know better. Money is deeply emotional. Studies show that people who grew up with less often carry financial anxiety into adulthood, even after they earn more. That's because their brain links money to survival. Understanding this helped me make better choices. I stopped judging myself for feeling nervous about spending. I started working on my mindset, not just my bank account, because if we want to be truly free with money, we have to heal the fear that comes with it first. Number 2. Scarcity made me a strategist. When you grow up with less, every dollar matters. I remember having just $20 to last 2 weeks. That meant planning every meal, skipping snacks, and walking instead of taking the bus. There was no room for mistakes. I had to make smart choices fast. Most people think being good with money means knowing how to invest or build credit. But growing up poor teaches a different skill: how to survive with almost nothing. It teaches you how to think ahead, avoid waste, and solve problems quickly. It's like playing a game on the hardest level every day. Because of this, I became a natural strategist. I learned how to stretch what I had, find deals, and get creative. I didn't call it budgeting, it was just life. That experience helped me later on. When I started making more money, I still thought carefully before spending. I knew how to plan and make every cent count.
Today's economy is tough.
Prices rise faster than paychecks. Many people are now learning the skills I was forced to develop early on, things like meal prepping, side hustles, and using every resource wisely. Being broke wasn't easy, but it gave me the mindset of someone who knows how to adapt and make smart moves when others panic. That's a skill money can't buy. Number 3. I didn't learn to spend, I learned to protect. When I got my first full-time job, I still wouldn't buy a $4 coffee. Even with money in my account, I felt like I couldn't afford it. Not because I was broke anymore, but because I didn't trust the money to stay. Growing up poor didn't teach me how to spend. It taught me how to hold on. Every dollar felt like something I had to protect. I didn't buy new clothes unless I had no choice. I avoided eating out. I skipped small joys, even when I could afford them.
Why?
Because I was afraid they'd cost me later. This fear is common for people who grew up with less. It's called money hoarding, saving out of fear, not planning. It feels smart, but over time, it can lead to stress and even burnout. Always trying to play it safe with money can stop you from enjoying the life you're working for.
I had to learn balance.
I started using the 80:20 joy spend rule. I saved most of my money, but allowed a little, just 20%, for things that made me happy. A book, a meal, a coffee. It helped me enjoy the present while still building for the future. Number 4. Poverty taught me the real cost of ignorance. One of the hardest lessons I saw growing up was when a family member rented a couch through a rent-to-own store. It looked like a good deal, small weekly payments. But in the end, they paid 3 times what the couch was worth. All because no one explained how interest and long-term payments worked. Poverty doesn't just mean not having money. It often means not having the right information about money. We didn't learn about credit scores, bank fees, or how to avoid payday loans. No one taught us what a budget really was or how to build savings. We weren't careless. We were just left out of the conversation. When you grow up poor, financial education is often missing. Not because people don't want to learn, but because they're too busy trying to survive. Schools rarely teach real-world money skills. And when bills are due, learning takes a backseat. But this lack of knowledge comes at a high price. People fall into traps, high-interest loans, hidden fees, and bad deals, not because they're irresponsible, but because no one warned them. However, there are free tools today that can help. Money apps, YouTube channels, and free online courses. Every piece of knowledge gives you more control. Number 5. Debt wasn't shameful. It was survival. I still remember the day the lights almost got cut off. My mom took out a payday loan just to keep the electricity on. The interest was high, but we didn't have a choice. It wasn't about shopping or vacations. It was about keeping the house warm and the fridge running. For many families like mine, debt isn't about living large. It's about staying afloat. When you have no savings, no help, and bills don't stop, borrowing becomes the only way out. It's not something you feel proud of, but it's not something you can avoid either. Some people see debt as a mistake. But for those living paycheck to paycheck, it often feels like the only option. It's not about bad habits. It's about hard situations. Today, debt looks different. By now, pay later apps are everywhere. They seem helpful, but they can add up fast, especially for people with low income. What feels like freedom at first can turn into another trap. I've learned that debt used for survival isn't shameful, but it is risky. The key is knowing your limits, understanding the terms, and looking for better options when possible. Because survival should never come at the cost of your future. Number 6. Abundance without direction is a trap. The first time I got a big tax refund, I felt rich. I bought new clothes, ordered food every day, and even paid for friends. It felt amazing until the money was gone just 2 weeks later. I had no idea where it went. I was back to struggling with nothing to show for it. When you grow up with very little, sudden money feels exciting. You want to enjoy it right away. You tell yourself, I deserve this. And you do. But without a plan, that money disappears fast. This is what I call the spend it before it's gone mindset. It's common in people who've lived with money stress for years. You finally get a break, and your brain wants to enjoy every second before it's taken away again. I learned that money without a goal is just a moment. Now, whenever I get extra income, I give it a job, save some, invest some, and still leave a little to enjoy. That small change helped me stop the cycle. Because having more money doesn't help if you don't know where it's going. Number 7. Wealth is not the opposite of poverty, access is. The first time I visited a wealthy neighborhood, I noticed something strange. It wasn't just the big houses or nice cars. It was the calm. No one looked rushed. No one seemed worried about the next bill. That's when I realized something important. Wealth isn't just about money. It's about access. When you grow up poor, everything takes more time and energy. You wait in long lines. You walk instead of drive. You search for the cheapest option, even if it takes hours. You don't have access to good credit, safe housing, or reliable healthcare. Every small task becomes harder. That pressure wears you down. Wealth gives people access to time, choices, and peace of mind. It gives them room to breathe. That's the real difference. Not just the money, but the freedom it brings. Growing up, we didn't dream about luxury. We dreamed about safety, about not having to worry every day. Now, I don't chase millions. I chase margin, space in my life where I don't have to panic over every expense. You don't need to be rich to build access. Start by creating a small emergency fund. Use free tools to grow your credit. Learn to earn passively, even in small ways. Real wealth is being able to make decisions without fear. It's having options. And once I understood that, I stopped chasing just income and started building a life with more freedom, more time, and more control. That's what access really means. Money isn't just what you earn. It's what you understand. It's how you use it, protect it, and prepare for the future. I had to unlearn fear, guilt, and shame, and replace them with knowledge, confidence, and purpose. If you've struggled, you're not alone. And you're not broken. You're just ready for the next step. Start where you are. Learn.
Plan. Grow.
That's how survival becomes strategy. Want to learn how real people are building quiet wealth and achieving financial success? Then watch this video next. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.